Hey there guys, hope you're well. Welcome back to another episode of Gavinsky's Tutorials. Something definitely quirky today. Very cool in some ways, but not without flaws. So I'll explain those, but I think probably those flaws will be fixed soon. A couple of bugs. I decided to go ahead with a video because there is no audio demo of this on YouTube. There is, or on the developer's website, or on the App Store, no video or anything. It's crazy. So I decided to just take a hit. I just bought it, and I really like it, but there are a few issues. So I'll mention those as we go along. So this is basically, it's called Ossuary Synth, right? But if you're searching for it in AUM, because you can use it as an AUv3. It also works standalone. Be careful when you're using the search box, right? If you start typing OSS, or even initially I thought it was 055, but it's actually 055, right? You're going to have to search to find it. So this is something really weird, really different. It's a horror sound generator, and all these presets here use a different synthesis engine. So it's got like 14 different engines or something, and yeah, and then you got some knobs and stuff, and it's got this cool visual as well. Well, I think it's cool anyway. I saw one person commenting, "Oh, I hate that skull. I love this bloody skull. This is great." But actually, it sounds great. Like really weird little glitchy thing. So that's just pressing one note there. So I'm using the internal keyboard there, but it takes MIDI in, right? So you can use sequencers or use the host keyboard. One criticism I'll make is like in the inbuilt keyboard, there's no latch, which would be useful. So you got to like hold it down if you're using the inbuilt keyboard, which is a bit annoying. You do have buttons here to change the octave. So if we look at the skull, these eyes get more red when the volume's louder. And the mouth opens. How quickly it opens and how slowly it closes will depend on your attack and release settings. See there, that now I put in a short release, and you see the mouth is closing faster if I turn up the release. I've already taken my finger off that, so it's taken a long time for the sound to fade, and it's taken a long time for the mouth to close. So, wow, that really does take a long time, actually. All right. So here, if I pick a preset, then I can press reset to put it back to its factory settings. So we've got these, I think it's 15 actually, right? Okay, yeah, so there's 15 synthesis engines. And these include different things. I can't remember if they were all listed, but like there's things like detuned analog style oscillators, FM, ring mod, sub oscillators, and inharmonic partials. So, when I read that stuff on the App Store, I thought, okay, this definitely does sound interesting. Not just getting it for the skull. I do want to emphasize that it actually sounded interesting from an audio point of view, and it is interesting from an audio point of view. But, one problem that it has at the moment is I tried saving a preset in here, and it's not actually saving state. So, if I open a preset or whatever here, and if I change the knobs, right, and then I save it in my host, because this is another problem. This doesn't have any system for saving goddamn user presets, which is crazy. All you have is these factory ones. There's no inbuilt preset system. And I mean, that's okay, but if that's the case, then the state saving needs to work, and it's not saving state. If I change these knobs here and I close AUM, when I open it up again, it will not remember the settings at all. If I save a preset, and when I try to recall it, it won't make any difference whatsoever. I've sent this on to the developer. As I say, like when apps come out, people want videos. So I'm not waiting I haven't heard back from the developer yet. I'm not waiting for the bugs to be fixed before I put this video up. So then this section here, has these different knobs. So let me just latch the keyboard here. I do wish it had a latch button built in. So drive, that adds saturation and distortion. Let me do one thing, hang on. Just sidechain this. Okay, there we go. So this here, this is bit crushing. Not hearing it a huge amount on that. It's probably because the rate's down as well. There we go. Okay, so bit crushing. Here, sample rate. Here, glitch. Okay, how much we get that glitchy effect. Now, here we come to two problematic knobs. This is one of the problems that there is at the moment, but I'm sure this can be easily fixed. I hope so anyway. I mean, it should be a simple fix. But I often found when I tweak the cutoff and resonance that I get a bad signal message in AUM. Let me see if it happens now. There we go. Okay, see? So look, I've lost audio completely. And here in AUM, it has this bad signal message. So this is a thing that the developer needs to fix, right? So let me just press replace here. And in Standalone, this is also problematic. In Standalone, you won't see a bad signal message, but you will still just lose audio. So, but that's, I hope it gets fixed. I mean, it absolutely needs to be fixed, that's for sure. So the cutoff and resonance knobs I have found very dangerous. So there I've just left the cutoff. If I don't put cutoff up full, then it seems to be okay. It's when I turn it up full, I sometimes get problems. Other times I've had problems with the resonance, but on this patch it's working okay. And I mean, you can see it's a very characterful filter. I mean, I really like this app actually so far, despite the bugs. So I do hope they get fixed, and I think they should. I mean, they should be simple things. Let me just press reset. When you get bad signal message, pressing reset or whatever will not fix it at all. One thing with these knobs is they're very confusing, because this looks like it's up full, but actually that's at the lowest setting, and that's what it looks like when it's up full. Also note, you only actually have a few values per knob. It jumps. It's not continuous. At least it doesn't sound like it's, it's not continuous, yeah. I mean, with something this sort of grungy, maybe it doesn't matter, but I still find that a little bit strange. I don't know. But it doesn't bother me. It certainly wouldn't put me off getting it, I don't find it that much of an issue. So there's detune here. Let me try a different preset. So let me take noise down. So there, look, I've turned detune up. You can hear that, I think. Manual does not give much detail on the detune thing, and assume it's going to be different, depending on what synthesis engine is being used, which, I mean, you don't get any information about what synthesis engine is being used. And again, if you want a different synthesis engine, you just have to pick a different preset. Then we have glide. Right, you hear that gliding? So that's with glide fully up. And that's glide down, we're not getting any gliding there. Great, that's poly. I'm not sure all the engines are poly. I think I tried one before and it was mono. And so then we have you know, your typical attack and release. So here I put the attack and release. Sorry, hang on, I think I changed glide there. Let me see. Let me just put attack and release up full. So we get the slow attack and slow release. That's obvious. Okay, here attack and release fully down. Again, you know, look at the way the mouth now opens and closes faster, right? Signal noise. I like this one. I love glitchy stuff. Absolutely love this UI. The only thing is, this is another criticism I'd make. You know, if you look at this, it's obviously designed to work really well on a phone. But, you know, I just can't help thinking it's a pity. You know, like, look, it just doesn't, it doesn't use the iPad screen very well, you know. But it's absolutely 100% functional. It's totally big enough to see everything and use, so I don't really mind that that much. This crypt. This is a beautiful sounding, like very dirty reverb. App Store description says it's comb/all pass reverb. Love it. I can't fault this on sound. Really, like if you're into sort of weird lo-fi stuff, I think a lot of people will like this app. Definitely, I like it. Just hope the bugs get fixed. Then Doom. This is interesting. Let me go back, because I experimented with this, I think, on that first patch. So let me see. Was it that one? So let me just explain what this Doom knob does first. So this is basically a macro knob that dials in a few different elements at the same time. One is more chaotic modulation. So the App Store says something about 2 LFOs. It doesn't give all that much information. I think it seems that maybe the LFOs modulate the pitch, you know, the main pitch of the oscillators, and also maybe the filter cutoff or something. Do they also modulate other things? I'm not really sure. It doesn't go into much detail. You hear there that descending tone, right? So that is the Shepherd Risset layer that this has, right? So, you know, this is this auditory illusion where a pitch seems to descend forever, yeah? So I've noticed this more on patches with a slow release. And that's beautiful. So let me see if we're getting, you know, do I get that on all of these patches when I release? Let me see. Yeah, I think so. So let me take Doom down and let's see if we still get that at all. So here we don't, right? So just if you don't want that, just turn Doom down. Absolutely love the sound of this thing. It's beautiful. Beautiful. What else does Doom do again? Oh yeah, the App Store description says something like there's a tremolo, there's a really low tremolo somewhere. What is it? 19 hertz. 19 hertz tremolo, basically amplitude modulation built in. So the Doom also increases the amount of that. And then volume. So this is $5. Pretty cool, I think. You know, if it didn't sound good, it would just be a gimmick, you know, but it's got all these different engines built in. An absolutely fab sound if you're into this sort of thing, which I am. And I absolutely bloody love the skull animation, I gotta say. And it looks like everything's exposed. The parameters have not actually tried. Okay, it looks like that's working fine. Yeah, okay. Looks like that's working. Can I take this note in? Let me just check. Let me just double check this, right, just to see. So let me open up a MIDI thing. Let's get MIDI LFOs. Good old MIDI LFOs. Not available on the EU App Store, unfortunately, anymore. So annoying. So let's just check this is working. MIDI LFOs, okay. Let's go in and get, say, I don't know, the Doom thing. Learn. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So it's picked it up fine. So everything seems to be set up okay for that. You see the Doom knob being modulated by the LFO. Slow the rate down. There we go. So finally there is a video demoing this up on YouTube, as there should have been from the moment it was released, a video made by the developer, right? I don't know why so many devs are so bad at doing that. Developers, you've got to put up audio or video demos. People just don't want to buy audio apps blind or deaf. You know, you want to see it, you want to hear it. So yeah, I hope this was useful for you. Massive thanks to everybody supporting my work over on Patreon. That's what makes it possible for me to still work on YouTube, Twitter, and Insta. See you later, guys.